Can XRP really overtake Ethereum and claim the number 2 spot? For years, I've heard the wildest price targets for XRP. $10, $100, even $1,000. And despite being an equity owner in Ripple, I've never really taken the time to dig in to see if those price targets had any merit. But here's what I can't ignore. XRP has survived every market cycle, outlasted countless altcoins, and despite facing the toughest battles, it continues to gain momentum, and I don't know if the market is really pricing that in. And while most crypto projects struggle to even survive, XRP has been a top 5 cryptocurrency for a decade, and that doesn't happen by accident. As an active VC in this space, I'm constantly presented with new innovative projects competing to disrupt the industry. So that leads me to the question, does XRP still have what it takes to compete, or has it already solidified itself as a cornerstone of global finance? The lawsuits, they're winding down. The ETFs, they're piling up. Ripple is securing massive partnerships with governments and banking giants. And if XRP can capture even a slice of the $290 trillion cross-border payments market, $100 might not be as crazy as it sounds. And really the reason I'm making this video is the hype for XRP is everywhere. During the holidays, my cousin, who's 21 years old, messaged me and said she bought her first cryptocurrency. She bought $50 worth of XRP. Why is someone who's just exploring the crypto industry choosing to buy XRP as their very first cryptocurrency? I must find out the answers to these questions. And so we're diving in deep today, guys, to find out if it's really worth the hype. To kick it off, let's listen to Patrick Bet David talk about his price prediction.
Let's just say XRP decides to, all of a sudden, they replace SWIFT. Let's say that happens. If XRP replaces SWIFT and FedNow, you know what happens? Let me give you some numbers here. XRP's ledger processes transactions in 3 to 5 seconds at nearly no cost, making it significantly faster and cheaper than SWIFT. So, SWIFT processes $5 trillion daily, or 1.25 quadrillion annually. If you didn't know what that was, quadrillion annually, SWIFT. If XRP captures 5 to 10% of volume, let's just say 10% of volume, $125 trillion annually, the demand for XRP, by the way, could be any of these other technologies we're talking about. Analysts estimate that a $10 trillion market cap could push XRP's price to $100 per token, with full replacement potentially driving it up to $1,000. Now, who those analysts are, I'm willing to bet those analysts own Ripple. And
all right, guys, so there you have it. I mean, $100 to $1,000 per XRP, and it's currently sitting at $2.32 right now. So are these claims actually validated? Well, we're going to get into that during this video, and we're going to talk a little bit about the difference between XRP, Ripple, the Ripple ledger, the Ripple stablecoin that was recently announced, and give you some guidance so you can understand the difference between all these, because it's very important to understand the difference. And full disclaimer, me, myself, I am an investor in Ripple, the company. I have equity in the Ripple company, and currently at the moment, I do not have any XRP tokens. All right, guys, so going back into CoinMarketCap, looking all the way back to 2013, I was here in these days building the Bitcoin lottery, right? World Super Lotto, the world's first Bitcoin lottery. We look at the market cap of the cryptocurrency industry. Oh, if we only had a magic time machine, can go back and buy Ripple at a $45 million market cap. Oh my God. Or Bitcoin at a $1 billion market cap. The days, right? If we only had a magic time machine, I think about it all the time. But the point is, since 2013, this has been here, and it's been consistently amongst the top cryptocurrencies for a reason. Okay, guys, I think most of you guys understand what Ripple is and XRP, but for those of you who don't or need a refresher, let's listen to Brad.
Ripple started years ago with this macro vision of how do we enable an internet of value? How do we let value move the way information moves today? We think about how easy it is to send an email to anyone in the world or a text message. You know, not that many years ago, that was not so easy. And you wrote a handwritten letter and it received 3 or 4 days later in the mail. And money, in some ways, is the same. You know, today, moving money between networks, you can't send money from PayPal to Venmo, let alone you talk about cross-border international payments. the friction is high, the cost is high. Ripple aspires to really enable that internet of value, to let value move seamlessly across borders, pay anyone, anytime, anywhere, just like sending an email. And I think we will see that future by leveraging technologies like crypto.
So there you have it. That's the vision of what Ripple is doing as a company and how the technology works. We'll get into the differences of that in just a second here. So what you have, and this is very important for the rest of the video and very important for you guys in the audience to understand, you have different entities involved here. You have the XRP ledger. This is the blockchain that XRP runs on. XRP ledger is the equivalent of something like Ethereum or Bitcoin. It is a blockchain. When Brad talks about sending value back and forth instantly, almost for free, that's happening on the XRP ledger, or sometimes referred to as XRPL. Then you have XRP, which is the native token on the Ripple blockchain. Now, XRP is used for a few things. One, it's used for gas. So every time a transaction is made on XRPL, there is a small, it is like 1/1000th of a cent or something like that, fee charged in XRP. And when that fee is used, those XRP are burnt. The other use case is for what Ripple calls on-demand liquidity. We'll get into that more later. And Ripple, so everyone's clear, is a company. And Ripple is a centralized company that generates revenue, that owns a lot of the token supply, and builds the technology of the XRP ledger, and does all the business development, all the relationships. And that's why you see Brad Garlinghouse at the White House for the Digital Asset Summit with President Trump. This is the centralized for-profit company that operates this technology. Very important to understand. And there's 3 different websites accordingly. So you have xrpl.org, which is the blockchain site. And importantly to note, what is the major purposes and why this technology was invented? It was invented for cross-currency payments, automatically settle multi-hop payments that cross currencies or national boundaries with ease, and payment channels, batch micropayments with unlimited speed, secured with XRP. And of course, that it's important that there's a digital exchange because of the way that it works. Essentially, when you want to send payments to someone, the way that it works is, okay, I'll give you an example. So you have person A, and person A is in the United States and wants to send $100 to person B that is in Mexico. And so person A goes to a service provider. Maybe it's a partnership that they've used before, like MoneyGram. Maybe it's an institution, maybe it's a bank that is currently using XRP Ledger and what Ripple calls on-demand liquidity. And the way that works is they take the $100, give it to the provider. Provider instantly swaps that $100 of fiat, and they change it for XRP tokens. So market buy through this decentralized exchange here, or maybe the provider has it on hand already. And then they send those XRP, $100 worth, to the receiver in Mexico. And immediately those XRP, because it travels very fast and settles within a few seconds on the XRP ledger. And so the XRP $100 worth sent down to Mexico, swapped for Mexican pesos, selling the XRP into Mexican pesos. The receiver can get their $100 worth minus the fees taken by the service providers. And that is a much faster way of sending money cross-border and cheaper. I mean, it's basically free on the XRP ledger. I mean, it's a 1/1000th or 1/10,000th of a cent or something. Very, very cheap. And that's what XRP is predominantly used for. Those are the 2 use cases of the XRP token, which is this website over here. And currently, as of today, there's been 5 million wallets and 2.8 billion transactions that have processed over $1 trillion of value so far on the XRP ledger using XRP. And Ripple is the centralized company, and they are continuing to innovate and continuing to build. We will talk more about the products that they're building and more services that they're offering as we move along here in the video. But it's important to note, that Ripple is the centralized company that has a CEO, that has a CFO, executive suite, makes salary, and has equity in a company called Ripple. This is also the company that I have equity in as well. Back in 2020, there was this famous lawsuit back with the SEC suing Ripple for selling unregistered securities. And we all know that that was a pain in the butt for Ripple for a long, long time. But last year, at least part of that lawsuit was settled. So currently, the way that it stands is there is still not the entire lawsuit is settled. What was resolved, though, was saying that XRP is not a security and that there was a $125 million fine that Ripple had to pay to the SEC as a penalty for selling unregistered securities. But it was a big deal. That's a big win. And anyone who was around last year remembers that. The price pumped like crazy on that news. Now, at the current rate of the way that things are going with the SEC dropping cases, Dom had a good post over here saying, February 12th, SEC versus Binance case put on hold. Also, by the way, guys, today there was news that the Trump family wants to buy equity stake in Binance. Insane. February 21st, SEC drops case against Coinbase. February 24th, SEC drops case against Robinhood. And it's likely that the SEC will drop the case against Ripple. Now we have Eleanor over here making a post saying, two well-placed sources tell me that the SEC versus Ripple case is in the process of wrapping up and could be over soon. My understanding is that the delay in reaching an agreement is due to Ripple's legal team negotiating more favorable terms regarding the August district court ruling, which imposed a $125 million fine on the company and included permanent injunction preventing the company from selling XRP to institutional investors. The argument, I'm told, is that the new SEC leadership is wiping the enforcement slate clean from all previously targeted crypto firms because it believes regulatory clarity will resolve the underlying issues. Why should Ripple still be penalized? Accepting the Torres ruling as it stands would mean that Ripple is essentially agreeing to admit wrongdoing. But now the SEC itself is seemingly unsure whether wrongdoing occurred. There's no real playbook for this kind of thing, which could explain why this case is taking longer to resolve. Stay tuned. So likely this case is going to be thrown out. All right. Now we have Paul Bear talking to our friend Matt over from Bitwise. Let's take a listen over here.
How would XRP respond? How would the market respond here on April 16th? That's potentially when the lawsuit would be final.
I think the market would love it, right? I do think, from my 30,000 foot view, specific to XRP, I think there is a significant chunk of the crypto market that has sort of written it off or forgotten about it. And I think that part of the market is wrong.
So guys, as you heard, we could potentially see the lawsuit wrapping up April 16th.
The coming 3 years.
Now here we're going to hear Brad talk about the future plans of what he intends Ripple to become.
Part of that last piece, Ripple, about over 95% of our customers are non-US financial institutions. We sell payment solutions, we sell custody solutions around blockchain and crypto. We're going to keep expanding, even though the US market, as we were talking about earlier, partly from a regulatory point of view, has been slow to adopt. The non-US market has been really, really strong for us. And you're
going to be the infrastructure around all of that.
That is our goal. And we think that opportunity is huge. We think that's going to be great for Ripple. We think it's going to be great for XRP, which is a digital asset we use. So I'm very, very optimistic about that. I just think that the US needs to figure it out.
And keep in mind, this is 10 months ago, right? So as we know, regulatory environment is shifting massively. And the market that Ripple is going for is no small market by any stretch of the imagination. The cross-border payments market is expected to boom in 2025. Data compiled by Statista shows that in 2023, the total value of cross-border payments was $190 trillion. And that is predicted to hit $290 trillion by 2030. With the bulk of that growth coming from expanding consumer-initiated cross-border payments. We've talked about this in other shows, right? Stablecoins are expanding, cross-border payments are expanding, people are moving around, they have the freedom, work remotely. This is definitely heating up as the world starts to mingle more, which is great. And if you just think about it, if Ripple were to take, just a percentage of this $290 trillion market, that would be pretty massive for Ripple, the company. Now, let's listen to Brad talk about his comparison to CBDCs and stablecoins.
of that is Ripple has invested and is working with about 10 different governments around the world to do central bank digital currencies. I mean, a central bank digital currency is a stablecoin. It's just issued by the government.
All right. So I want to make something extremely clear here. I am totally against CBDCs. Totally against CBDCs. You know, as it stands currently, just so you guys are aware, he's right. USDT, USDC are very centralized. They can be frozen at any time. They can be paused, halted, whatever. And so keep in mind, I'm making this video not because I'm excited about what Ripple's doing or XRP. I'm making this video out of the perspective of if this is a good potential investment or not, right? And that's the purpose of this video, is an educational video about the XRP assets and distinguishing that versus Ripple, the company, and the XRP ledger, and RLUSD, which is Ripple's new stablecoin. Guys, if you're excited and finding value in these videos, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're new to the channel, my name is Kyle. I've been in the space for 13 years. I have a lot to say, and I put a lot of effort into making these videos, especially this one. So it would mean a lot to me if you subscribe to the channel and follow along with the journey. Let's get back into it, guys. Anthony Welfare over here says, the XRP Ledger CBDC platform also serves as a basis for similar pilot projects in Hong Kong, Bhutan, Palau, Montenegro. There's also ones going on in Georgia and Colombia as well. And also we just got news that they got a license, the DFSA license, to operate in the UAE. Huge, really, really big. So, I mean, it's working with 10 central banks and governments, now 11 with the UAE. There's no doubt that Ripple is going to be used massively in the future. Remember, the intent of this video is to let you know if the XRP token has value or not. Ripple's DFSA license adds to its growing list of over 60 regulatory approvals worldwide, including a major payments institution license from the Monetary Authority of Singapore, a New York Department of Financial Services, trust charter, a virtual asset service provider registration from the Central Bank of Ireland, a money transmitter license across multiple United States. They're getting licensed and regulated everywhere. Again, you know, this kind of technology is not why I got in crypto, but do I like to make money and try to make investments? Yes. You know, do I think that Ripple is a sound investment? Well, that's what we're here to find out. Not only everything that we've already mentioned, but check out these blue chip partnerships that they're working with. You can see huge companies on here. Some notable ones: Western Union, MoneyGram, Bank of America, the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, Revolut, Deloitte, SCB, which is a Thai bank, SBI, which is a Japanese bank, UBS. I mean, all kinds of banks. Standard Charter, Seagate, all these partnerships over here with Ripple. So you can see that they are partnering with everybody around the world, all the banks, all the companies, all institutions, everything. Now, this is really interesting to note because Ripple and MoneyGram end partnership deal amid the SEC lawsuit. So before the lawsuit, there was a huge announcement that Ripple partnered with MoneyGram. It was exactly what MoneyGram and Western Union needed. They needed a more efficient way for cross-border payments so they can reduce the cost. I mean, it was so expensive. I don't remember if any of you guys watching this ever used to send money through Western Union or MoneyGram, but it was so expensive to do it back in the day. I mean, unbelievable how much money those guys took from your cross-border payments. So to partner with something like Ripple makes perfect sense. But when this lawsuit happened, MoneyGram had to back out from using them to protect its own company. But they said they look forward to potentially restoring the relationship in the future when the lawsuit subsides. When this lawsuit subsides, and it's inevitable that it will, and likely soon, all of the people, I mean, there must be so many people, entities, institutions that have told Ripple, and I've heard Brad say this himself. He said that there are so many people that are just waiting for the regulatory green light so they can start using the XRP ledger and start using Ripple. Right? And I guarantee you, as soon as they can, MoneyGram will rejoin partnerships with Ripple and start using them again, because the old traditional way, Swift, to transact money is too slow. It's too slow. It's too expensive. I mean, we're talking days days to transfer money, and fees, my God, fees. You could go from the old, clunky, broken system like Swift that takes days and is expensive to the fast, modern, 21st century, happens in seconds and costs a fraction of a cent system. Obviously, and that's an obvious play there. Now, Ripple is expanding out. This is why they have a centralized company, so they can figure out how else can we add value to Ripple and use the XRP ledger. So there's announcements at this event that they had, this Apex event, and they partnered with this company called Archex. And essentially what it is, I don't need to play the video, but it's a real world asset play. So they're going to be putting all kinds of real world assets, tokenizing things like, whatever it is, stocks, bonds, real estates, whatever this company Archex does, they'll be putting their real world asset tokens on the XRP ledger. Now, what does this mean for the XRP token? Well, every time that one of these assets, it's not XRP, but if it's using the XRP blockchain, it requires XRP to transact, albeit not very much. Like, not very much at all. Like, one Ripple token can get you like hundreds of transactions. So it's a very, very small amount of gas. For XRP to go up in value a lot by utility, they really have to do these kinds of initiatives and get massive global adoption. I mean, Ripple and XRP are going for the moon and beyond or bust, right? They're going to completely dominate, or the XRP token is just not going to do much, right? And we'll get into more of that during this video here. It's important to note, we talked about this ISO 20022 before. This is the international software standard, essentially, for money transmission. This is the crypto companies building infrastructure into the traditional world. And so essentially what you have is XRP being compliant with the standard. Ripple embraces ISO 20022, places XRP in a strategic position with global finance as one of the first members of the registration management group. Ripple is pioneering the integration of distributed ledger technology into cross-border payment systems. And you have a long list. I mean, there's more people applying for an XRP ETF than there was for the Bitcoin ETF. 17 companies. 17 companies. But you know what I don't see on there? I don't see BlackRock. I don't see BlackRock on there yet, and I'm not sure why. But it's coming, right? An XRP ETF is coming. And as we can see over here, James Safar over from Bloomberg Intelligence says, at Eric, his partner, and I took a look at the filings for spot crypto ETFs. We're putting out relatively high odds of approval across the board, mainly focused on Litecoin, Solana, XRP, and Dogecoin for now. Here's the tables with the odds. So putting XRP fourth at a 65% likely that it gets an ETF this year. Now, I think a lot of that was pending on the existing lawsuit. They need to wrap that up. And I'm interested to see if any, this is, besides Ripple, I'm interested to see if any of these things go through. I mean, Bloomberg says it's a high likelihood that they do, but I'm just curious why BlackRock hasn't stepped in yet. Just curious. But 17 issuers looking for an XRP ETF. There's a lot of demand. I bet you, if and when this XRP ETF goes through, it will have way more demand than the Ethereum ETF. It's just XRP, it's just literally, XRP has something that Ethereum doesn't. They have exceptional marketing and visibility. I mean, literally, my 21-year-old cousin who was not into crypto, I talked to her over Christmas. A week later, she messaged me and said she bought XRP. Not Ethereum, not Solana, not Bitcoin. She bought XRP. There's huge interest. They're doing something right. They've been around for a long time, and I'll give them that credit. Now we're going to talk about stablecoins. We've been talking about stablecoins a lot on this show. The significance, this genius act that's supposed to go into Congress to start voting for it. President Trump and the American people gave Congress a mandate to advance legislation to provide clarity for the digital asset industry, including stablecoins, said Chairman Scott. The bipartisan agreement, the result of negotiations with stakeholders, industry, and members of both parties, will protect consumers and expand financial inclusion for Americans across the country. Stablecoins enable faster, cheaper, and competitive transactions and facilitate seamless cross-border payments. This legislation will ensure the industry can innovate and grow here in the United States while promoting the US dollar global position. I've said it once, I'll say it again. The United States really wants US-backed stablecoins. Why? Because it's going to help get dollars into more people around the world. If you got a smartphone and you're in a country like Venezuela and you get paid in Bolivar and you want to swap that in US dollars, boom, easy to do it with a stablecoin. It brings more demand for the US dollar on a global basis. This is obvious. This thing will pass through Congress. For now, at least, it's not a central bank digital dollar that's enforced on us like it's happening in Europe and other places. And I hope it stays that way. In fact, Trump said he will make sure that we do not have a central bank digital dollar. Now, when Brad said before, I want to clarify something. When Brad in the video said before that CBDCs and stablecoins are virtually the same, it's true. But when we talk about CBDCs, oftentimes what that means is replacing the fiat currency. So not issued paper money from the Federal Reserve anymore, but a government issued, mandated digital currency that is what must be used as a primary currency within the country and the only legal tender. So you must receive your wages and salary in it. You must pay for goods and services in it. And the dystopian thing about CBDCs are if you don't behave, they can just take it directly out of your bank account or forget having to think about how to pay your taxes. They'll just take it from your CBDC bank account. And that gets even more dystopian when they introduce a social credit scoring system like China has, where and this is where I saw America going before, and we saw last, I talked about on the channel, we saw all kinds of trials for CBDCs with the United States. I was like, no way I'm living in a country where there's first CBDCs, then they try to take away your rights to free speech, like we saw was happening on all the platforms. Sorry, my Mac just does this little, hey, this little blue thing. And then they introduce a social credit scoring system, right? So if you misbehave, if you protest against the government, boom, they cut down your social credit score and they can even fine you with central bank digital dollars. And the scary thing is there's no alternative in a world like that. Thank God we have Bitcoin as an unconfiscatable currency. Anyway, that's my little rant about CBDCs versus stablecoins. I'm okay with stablecoins because they're not mandated on us, right? It gives us an opportunity to be in the crypto market and have a stable position to avoid volatility in all the other crypto assets, which most businesses need to survive. Right? So the OCC, getting back into it, the Office of the Comptroller of Currency, reaffirmed that crypto asset custody, holding deposits that serve as reserve backing stablecoins, and the use of distributed ledger technology and stablecoins to facilitate permissible payment activities are permissible in the federal banking system. This is a really big deal because it's going to allow banks to custody crypto for people and hold deposits that are the guarantee of US-backed stablecoins, which will give us more transparency into making sure that they're backed one-to-one for every stablecoin that's issued. It's backed one-to-one with the US dollar, redeemable for a US dollar as well. Very important to trust your money in a stablecoin that is regulated. The alternative, which I would love to see, and another time and the place for that would be some sort of algorithmic stablecoin, something like Ampleforth has been building, for example. That would be the most ideal situation. But for now, we don't have something like that that's actually working on a mass scale. So back to the video, guys. And here is Brad to talk about the stablecoin.
And the stablecoin?
Oh, the stablecoin. So like Ripple has always been about how do we bridge this new world with a traditional kind of, people call it TradFi, traditional finance. And Ripple has always been that bridge. We started around payments and we sell into banks. A stablecoin, the demand for stablecoins has exceeded, I think, what people thought. It's a $150 billion asset class right now. Some forecast it to be over $2-3 trillion in a few years. The players in that space, particularly one called Tether, is a non-US based entity. And the US, frankly, is kind of going after that because they want this to be regulated. Just yesterday, there's a new bill introduced in the Senate to create some stablecoin legislation, which I think is a positive step of like, hey, finally, we might get some forward momentum there. But I think that market's going to grow a lot. I think a US-based player who is compliance first has a great role to play.
It's a great story to tell.
So there you have it. That's RLUSD. That is Ripple's stablecoin. One thing I was thinking about when making this video and learning about this, and guys, let me know in the comments below what you think, right? So it actually concerns me a little bit. And I'm not trying to FUD or anything like that. I'm genuinely asking those of you from the XRP army, those who understand, if the Ripple stablecoin is a good thing or not, because it's going to run on the XRP ledger, on the blockchain. But if the strongest use case for the XRP token before was on-demand liquidity, meaning that if you want to send money cross-border, the example I gave before of $100 from US to Mexico, for example, taking the XRP must be purchased, then sent, then redeemed. That's the number one use case for XRP. If Ripple USD now exists and the same customer goes to send $100 from US to Mexico, why would they need the XRP anymore? Why can't they just send Ripple USD to the receiver in Mexico and they could swap that Ripple USD for Mexican pesos? I don't have a clear answer for you guys on this one. I'm genuinely asking the question and curious to know. Let me know in the comments below what you guys think on that one. Okay. So one of the things that really made me want to make this video was we have to pay attention to what's going on in the United States, right? And we looked at the confirmed list of guests that attended the Crypto Digital Asset Summit. Well, you see right here, Brad from Ripple did attend the Digital Asset Summit at the White House. And the only other founder that has a token right now that attended was my man, Sergey Nazarov from Chainlink over here. That's it, right? We know that World Liberty Fi will probably have a token eventually soon. But that's it. Of all the attendees, it was really just Ripple and Link that were there. Shout out to the XRP Army. Shout out to Link Marines. Here we go. Some new developments that are happening as well from this BitGet report. So key elements include a permissioned decentralized exchange, credit-based DeFi lending protocol, and a new multi-purpose token format. So XRP Ledger is evolving from just strictly a payments platform to something more similar to something like Ethereum, but infinitely faster and cheaper. And why not? They already have all the market share. They already have all the attention. And these kind of products will bring more transactions on chain, which the chain can definitely facilitate and handle because it has really fast throughput, really fast transaction speed. And so you're going to see them develop new products like DeFi products, like new types of tokens and DEXs, decentralized exchanges, all on the XRP ledger. This is going to be more transaction volumes, more fees generated. And again, every time a transaction happens on chain, a little tiny bit of XRP is burnt. But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, ladies and gentlemen. You know, I mean, everything we talked about so far is extremely bullish for Ripple. But there are some things that it would be wrong for me not to bring to your attention. So here's the story. The XRP ledger was built in 2011. Imagine that. Way before Ethereum, just after Bitcoin was launched. I mean, insane innovation. Such early visionaries by Jed McCaleb and Arthur Brittrow and David Schwartz. At the time of creation, there was 100 billion XRP. In September 2012, Jed and Arthur, along with Chris Larson, formed Ripple, the company called OpenCoin Incorporated at the time, and decided to gift 80 billion XRP to Ripple in exchange for Ripple developing the XRP ledger. So 80% of the supply went to Ripple, the company. Sound familiar? The Trump coin, 80% went to Trump. That's kind of ironic, isn't it? Wow, that's a lot of supply, right? So since then, the company has regularly sold XRP used it to strengthen XRP markets and improve network liquidity and incentivize development of the greater ecosystem. In 2017, the company placed 55 billion XRP in escrow to ensure that the amount entering the general supply grows predictably and the foreseeable future. Ripple's XRP market performance site reports how much XRP the company has available and locked in escrow present. And guys, Ripple gets a lot of crap for this escrow, right? Every month, 1 billion tokens is unlocked and allowed to be sold according to the governance of the XRP ledger. And Ripple uses that revenue to fund the Ripple company, business development, also for liquidity. So the thing is when you're doing cross-border payments, you have to have deep liquidity, meaning that there has to be a trading pair. So whether it's like Mexican pesos or Japanese yen, there must be, in order for those payments to be effective, you have to have lots and lots and lots of liquidity in every country around the world so that those cross-border payments, no matter how large the size is, there's not what's called slippage. And that essentially happens when there's not enough, essentially, money in this liquidity pool. I know that's getting a little bit complicated, but anyway, there are valid reasons why Ripple has been selling, and people always claim, oh, they're putting it in their pocket, they're getting super rich themselves. Yes, the founders have all gotten rich, rightfully so. They've remained in the top 5 the entire life of Ripple, and likely maybe will flip Ethereum too. So there is valid reasons of why they've been selling. Now, however, one thing to note is that in the last bull run, in 2017, we had a bull run, right? And then a lot of tokens died, never came back. But the ones that did in 2021, most of them went back to all-time highs or surpassed them. XRP did not, because probably likely of inflation, right? Because they were selling the tokens, and so it didn't see new all-time highs. And that concerned a lot of people. But we haven't had the environment we have had today. Remember, Brad said that 95% of their business is happening outside of America, and America is where all the real money is, and the doors seem to just be opening for them now. Another point of criticism is that the top 100 XRP wallets control 72% of the supply, right? That's a stark difference between the top 100 BTC wallets controlling 7.4% of the supply. Now, if we want to look at this even closer, we can go over here to the XRP scan. This is fully public. And you can see all of the accounts holding Ripple. This blue line over here means it's an escrow. They cannot be touched. They're not liquid. They cannot be sold until the escrow unlocks. But you can see these are the top holders. Bam, 5 billion, 5 billion, 5 billion, 4.5 billion, 4.5 billion, escrow. And then you have more Ripple ownership. And then you've got, different exchanges over here, like Uphold or Binance or Upbit. More Ripple. Who knows who these are? Maybe they're whales. I don't know. Who knows? Exchanges. Then you got Chris Larsen, the founder. Chris Larsen. And then you've got banks and more Ripple, etc. Right? And then more Ripple. So it is, largely still controlled and in the hands of Ripple, the large amount of supply, which concerns a lot of people, right? And eventually, probably, these tokens will come into the liquid market, come out of escrow. And, that is a lot of headwinds. And so we have to be realistic when we ask the question, like, how high can the price of Ripple go when there's still so many more tokens to enter into circulation? Well, the answer to that is solely based on the demand and adoption. And that's what Brad says is happening now and seems to be opening up. And then again, another point of contention was that the Ripple co-founder, Jed McCaleb, in 2020, cashed out $400 million worth of XRP. Whatever. He had the right to do so. It was his XRP, and why not? So the question is still remaining, guys. How high can the price of Ripple go, and will it flip Ethereum? For that, we really need to understand, it's already quite close. In FDV, but in market cap is what's really important, right? So it has It has to do with like a 2x from here, while Ethereum stands still, to flip Ethereum. My bet says that it probably will. Now, the question is, a lot of people are making price predictions of $10, $100, you even heard in the intro, $1,000. And the answer to that question is much more difficult than in speculation. In doing research for this video, I went and I started doing a lot of research and understanding what it would take for the price of the XRP token to increase significantly. Even to $20 or $50 would require massive amounts of adoption, but it's not impossible. And another thing that's important for people to note, again, was a distinction between XRP as an asset which you, the public, can buy, or the equity shares of Ripple. Remember, Ripple is also planning on going public probably this year in an IPO. And that won't have any direct real world impact on the XRP token price. Of course, a lot of the price in crypto is always fueled by pumpamentals and speculators, right? And so could the price of XRP in a mega bull run right now pump to $50 on speculation alone? Yes. But what I really want to do is I really want to go down and I want to dive deep. And I want to figure out, if this vision comes true of what Brad is talking about, right? It becomes a cornerstone of the cross-border payments around the world, maybe even replaces SWIFT one day. Based on actual demand and utility of the token, what would actually be required? What would that world look like? How many transactions per day would be have to be happening? How much value would need to be transferred around the world? And the answer is really not as easy as it looks. And so earlier today, I was going through a huge thought experiment, lots of math and trying to figure it out. And so what I'm going to do, guys, is this is going to be part one of the video. The next video I make next week is going to go into in depth how the price of XRP could significantly increase and just how high it realistically could go. And I really encourage you guys to make sure that you watch that video, because some of the price predictions that I hear other people making have no basis in reality. I'm very bullish. I'm an investor in Ripple. I'm very bullish on it. But what I want to try to do here on the channel is give you guys, as investors, to help you educate yourself and try to ground some speculation in reality based on what's being told to us and how the actual economic model of XRP works. So guys, if you're excited for that, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already, and I will catch you next week. I hope you found this valuable. If you did, smash the like button. XRP Army, I love you guys, and Link Marines, everybody else. I'll catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.